I had a dream. Was it a nightmare? Well, it was sublime, maybe even surreal. In Western culture, the dream's place in art is mostly associated with the Surrealist movement in the early 20th century. But dream imagery was part of a larger frame of reference in the Romantic period of art and had some influence on Surrealist artists. While Surrealism embraced imagery that suggests something beyond what is normal or expected, this artwork is perhaps more a byproduct of the Romanticism movement than the founder of Surrealism, André Breton, early on in his writings and manifesto, was willing to give credit. The word romantic inevitably conjures in the imagination matters of the heart. But in the context of art, it's a reference to strong emotions associated with an art style that was prevalent at the dawn of the 19th century. The imagery depicted was dark, macabre, and even grotesque. The skies were gloomy or cloudy as a sign of imminent danger and fear of the unknown. Nature was represented by mystical landscapes, dark in both a literal and figurative sense. They showed dramatic scenes, occasionally with undertones of nature's triumph over man. The sky was prominent, often covering half of the painting. Dramatic scenes similar to those done during the Baroque period were painted with visible brushstrokes, and horrific and Gothic images where faces express feelings such as intense pain, anguish, anger, or fear were prevalent. Surrealism artists aimed to revolutionize the human experience, rejecting a rational vision of life in favor of one that asserted the value of the unconscious and dreams. The movement's poets and artists found magic and strange beauty in the unexpected and the uncanny, the disregarded and the unconventional. Their imagery was created with unexpected and illogical juxtapositions. Artists used bizarre assemblages of ordinary objects. Exploration with automatism and a spirit of spontaneity was a key element. Included were games and techniques to create random effects. Visual puns were shared, and distorted figures and biomorphic shapes were prevalent. The primary difference between the two movements is that Romanticism promoted an exploration of man's relationship with nature in all its definitions, while Surrealism is an exploration of the subconscious mind. However, these two art movements do share a common theme to express and capture that constant human need to understand the unknown that comes from the imagination we experience when we dream. Almost from its beginning, there was an ideal in Romanticism visual art that embraced and depicted spiritual and supernatural elements using the dream as a field to exploit imagination. Dreams were revelations of reality. Through dreaming, poets were believed to be consciously monitoring their own imagination and the shaping of the creative process itself. Surrealist artists sought in their own work to transcend the constraints of rationality and the oppressive societal rules that had led mankind to the First World War. The unconscious became a creative tool that contained unexpected meanings and a window onto one's secret inner self. Another strong bridge between the dream art of the Romanticism and Surrealist movements was built by Sigmund Freud. Born in 1856, Freud was subjected to Romanticism imagery while growing up, and no doubt it influenced his book, The Interpretation of Dreams, published in 1899. Freud believed that the mind existed in both conscious and subconscious states, and both were always active, holding on to memories that had been buried by time. He claims the best way to access these memories is through dreams. The Surrealists loved this idea on dreams, seeing them as pure worlds of imaginative freedom to build their imagery. The Romanticism movement officially began in 1800, and most historians say it was all but over by 1850. However, the Romantic dream was still influencing artists through most of the 19th century. Sigmund Freud was born in 1856 and was 43 years old when he published The Interpretation of Dreams in 1899. His visual research was clearly grounded by Romanticism art. André Breton, the founder of the Surrealist movement, was born in 1896. He served in World War I, 1914 to 1918, as a psychiatric aide in a military hospital and was introduced to Freud's theories on the dream. The Surrealist movement officially began in 1920, and while reported to have ended in 1967 after the death of René Magritte, artists are still influenced to capture the dream in art.